Soul of the Sword is in no way an average kung fu film. T. Lung, my favorite Shaw Brothers actor, spent most of his career playing stalwart heroes. Here he plays a really nasty piece of work, a nameless orphan who spends his entire life preparing to kill the world's greatest swordsman for a personal vendetta which nobody, including his target, can understand. He slays anyone in the path to this goal. I mean, anyone. As an urchin, Nameless watched a duel between a young upstart fighter and the mysterious Lu Tin Kang, the King of Swords. Lu chivalrously offered, repeatedly, to let this younger challenger go. The challenger persists and is eventually killed. His lover, humiliated by his defeat, kills herself over his corpse. The kid goes and confronts Lu, and is told to come back when he's ready. In the woods, the kid meets a stone carver who keeps a record of all the great swordsmen killed by Lu on a stone. When the boy swears he's going to defeat Lu someday, the stonecutter tells him his spot is saved on the stone, right about here. Cut to the future. The child has grown up to be T. Lung. He's obviously an unstable talent. He kills a lone parakeet in a room full of doves. He slaughters an entire Taoist monastery just to prove his sword skills. He duels with Lily Li, Li Huisang, and others in his quest to prove his worth as a fighter. Nameless proves again and again that he is an amoral and narcissistic killer. All the while, he's haunted by the ghost of the woman who committed suicide for her lover all those years ago. Here, the movie kind of feels like a kung fu version of Hitchcock's Vertigo. The nameless hero encounters a seamstress who is the spitting image of that long-dead woman, and he becomes dangerously obsessed with becoming her lover. This obviously causes friction with her suitor, a rich local dandy. During his adventures, Nameless becomes fast friends with a kindly doctor, played by Ku Feng. The two tour Chinese towns and brothels together. T. Lung and Ku Feng's wanderings take this film in an unexpected direction. Scene after scene, we are immersed into local culture. We hear bawdy stories told in the public square by blind entertainers. We see pickpockets and mashers and shoplifting kids. We watch people shop at markets and rush for umbrellas in sudden downpours. This is all shot beautifully and has no direct relation to the film's plot. You could stretch and try to say that this is to show Nameless's amorality being a product of his chaotic environment, but it's already been established that his problem is his fixation with that long-ago duel, and specifically with the beauty who sacrificed herself because of her lover's failure. I'd say instead that these cultural sidebars are what makes Soul of the Sword what it is, a textural film. Watch this movie isolated on headphones if need be, lights off. The sound design will suck you in. Nighttime winds and torrential rainstorms. More than any other Shaw Brothers film, this movie has an eerie power to make me feel like I'm inside its world. The cinematography is ambitious. Most of it works beautifully. There is a lot of sex in Soul and the Sword. Most of it pretty oblique, but not all. There's some very exploitative stuff early on when T. Lung duels Lily Li, both of them briefly nude, Li obviously using a body double. This stuff seems to just underline Nameless's masculine dominance.
剑倒是蛮长的，可惜软了一点。
But it does get interesting when T. Lung's nameless warrior is ready to seduce Lin Chen-chi. She pricks her finger and a blood droplet appears. Outside her window, Nameless is enduring the pouring rain, and he empties out a boot full of water. I can explain the symbolism in that if you want. Traditional Chinese literature refers to intercourse as rainstorms and thunder, and this movie's all over that metaphor. The sewing moment reminds me of the 1999 Korean music video for Coming of Age Ceremony by Park Ji-yoon. The video was shocking at the time. An elderly Korean man told me that Park was acting like a man, i.e. taking charge of her own sexuality. It would be hard to argue that Lin Chen-chi's two characters, both entirely ruled over by their lovers, have sexual agency, but the second one clearly chooses Nameless over her rich suitor, and that was a bad call. Soul of the Sword is an unusually emotional film for 1970s Shaw Brothers Kung Fu. I've read reviews saying that the swordplay is not the greatest, which I didn't notice. It's not the movie where you get the lads together for beers. It's the one where you settle in, lights off, sound up, and just sink in.